Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pabs, a racing VTuber and an artist, and today we're going to be working on some character designs that I've been meaning to get a little bit of a start on. So recently I've been designing some kind of like fantasy-leaning office workers, and I've been wanting to put those to paper in a meaningful way. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be doing a little bit of that. We're going to be just making essentially like key art for the characters. Now, let me see here. I actually kind of want it a more square canvas size. There we go, that'll do. It always irks me a little bit when I don't make the canvas an exact size. Oh yeah, also I've made a few tweaks to Scrunkly Plabs. You can see that I bounce around a lot more. If this starts giving you motion sickness, give me a heads up. I can tweak it right back. I don't know. I don't generally use a lot of the squashing in PNG Tuber Plus. It feels a little bit not overbearing is certainly not the word, but definitely like it's a little bit much for me. I don't know how it looks on screen as a thing. Like, well, no, that's not true at all. I can see it on OBS. I can see it. I can see it right there. It's on the program. But yeah, my eye is normally not focused on that, which is why I wanted a second opinion if possible. Okay, how thick is like 15? 15 seems pretty good for just planning and such. All right, so I got like three dudes that I want to try and do a design of. So the first one is this like old vampire lady that I wanted to make a design of. Yeah, so these are all going to be like office workers, but I wanted them to have like also like fantastical elements, right? So this is going to be like a vampire office lady. She's going to be much more bat-like than I guess most vampires are. More Nosferatu leaning than most examples, I suppose. She's still going to be like a sweet old lady, though. Dude, older coworkers can be so cool, honestly. Yeah. So big old vampire ears, and then I wanted her to have almost like a beehive hairdo. Maybe we can give her almost like a Frankenstein skunk line right down the middle. Yeah, and then the idea was to make her. You know how like there are those like old people that are like hunched over really badly, kind of like that. Okay, her. She's also going to be very stumpy, like I am. This is definitely going to be a style over like anatomy sort of thing. And I was thinking about like how to incorporate bat wings into this design, right? So what I was thinking is that having the bat wings be almost like a walker that you can use would be a cool idea. I remember that reading somewhere that like bats' wings are basically like what human hands would be like, but it was super weird. So that's a plan here, is to make them like. Well, no, that's not really the plan here. It would be incredibly difficult to use your fingers as a walking implement. But as I am certain that horses can attest, that's actually quite a difficult feat. God, whenever I think about like what do you call it? Like divergent, not divergent. There's convergent evolution, which is when things end up looking the same despite coming from different origins. Much like how a lot of different evolutionary lines in the ocean eventually ended up looking like a crab. There are also, I do think it's divergent because that's why whales have like vestigial pelvises, as do snakes. Actually, snakes also have like vestigial legs that have turned into something that I can't really discuss at length. But yeah, I don't have many qualifications to discuss snake stuff, unfortunately. Okay, these are too big, is the thing. So I need to make them slightly smaller. Maybe I just kind of like, there we go. Maybe if I almost tilt them a little bit, hang on. Like this. But yeah, much like how horses' hooves are like their fingers, a bat's wings are supposed to be hands also, but I forget in which way. Maybe if I look up a diagram. Bat wing versus human hand. Yeah, here we go. Here's the diagram. Yeah, okay, so they are basically like their hands. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I figured. You can also see this in birds apparently. Check this out. Nuts, huh? I don't know. I think I think humans got a pretty good deal out of this, but I think bats definitely got a better deal out of it than birds. I don't know though. Like I said, I'm not an expert on bat wings. I don't know if they're easier to take care of than bird wings. I know birds have hollow bones, so they can actually like fly. So I don't know if bats also have that feature? Question mark. But yeah, the idea was to use her bat wings as a walker. And also, I was also thinking of having some up here. Like she has two pairs of wings, one that she uses as a walker, and the other one that she uses to kind of like shield her shoulders from the cold a little bit. But in the case of the shoulder wings, I actually wanted them to almost resemble like those like power suits that they used to have in the 80s, the ones that have like huge shoulder pads. That's kind of like what I wanted the top set to be like, or to at least evoke. Okay, there we go. And she can have like little tiny beats. There we go. Now we can move this around a little bit. I'm going to use the liquefy tool quite a bit here. Just kind of squashing and stretching until it feels right. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty good basis, I think. We can probably make that a little bigger as well. Yeah, this is going to be like a lightning round kind of thing, where I'm just going to try and knock these out as fast as I can between what do you call like between characters. Actually, do bat noses look like this? Hang on. Let me take a look at this. Oh. Yeah, so hang on. I need to find a picture that's like... Some of these are like head-on, some of them are like sideways. Bats have lots of different types of noses is the thing as well. Yo, check out the sniffer on this dude, though. Look at that. That's nuts. That's kind of what I want, though. That's kind of like the one that I had in mind. There we go. It almost looks like an ace of spades. That's really cool. All right, and then this just kind of goes like this. Okay, and then we go like this. I kind of want to use a thicker brush this time around as well. That's going to cause some problems. Oh, yeah. Check out this new hotkey I've implemented. Instant canvas flipping. Now, no longer will I have to fret about, I want to try and do it more regularly. I want to try and be able to flip the canvas regularly so I can check up on the progress. That usually isn't really much of a problem, I've noticed. Oh, wait, actually, I just had a way better idea. No need to use thicker lines. We can just make... Hang on. We can just make solid blacks using thin lines. That'll actually give us even more control. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's looking good. Dude, I remember one time my family went to like this park, right? And it had like an attached zoo, might not be the right word, but it was like an attached animal enclosure section that they had, right? And I got to pet like a bat there. I got to get it to climb on my hand and everything. It was so cool. That was a good day. I remember there were also a ton of monkeys there, but those were just like normal like mountain monkeys. They weren't. They were more. They kind of had the run of the place because nobody wanted to mess with them, which is reasonable. I don't think I would want to tussle with a monkey myself. Those little guys can be vicious. Hold on, what's this? What? Oh, it's numlock. I see. Hang on. Sometimes I hit the numlock key on accident, and those are... That usually takes me a while to kind of realize. Oh, hell yeah. Ooh, Scrunkly Babs. That's right. Hi, Adept. How you doing? Yeah, I made this model the other day on stream, and I've gotten a little bit attached to it, honestly. I like how it looks. But yeah, welcome to the stream. How you doing? It's very fun. Thank you. I'm glad to hear. Not bad, just working. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm happy to keep you company. We are making this old bad lady office worker. Vampire lady. I feel like there's a difference between bat person and a vampire person. Like a vampire is not necessarily a bad person, but a bad person is also not necessarily a vampire. But there's a lot of overlap. Like they have similar elements to each other, but they're not the exact same. Venn diagram that's not quite a circle. That's right. Yeah, you understand. Like the thing is, you can't draw on one without drawing from the other because they're very inextricably linked. Like vampires are, if you don't relate vampires to bats, then like what the fuck are you doing, honestly? Right? Like I feel like that's almost a no-brainer move these days. But if you make like bats, like a bat people kind of species, I feel like you also have to draw a little bit on vampires. the the cultural kind of like intricacies are very delicate and must be studied carefully. There we go. Complex and far-reaching implications. Yeah. Like, at what point can you make, like, what's the most bat-like you can make something before somebody tries to call it a vampire, right? Like, I'm guessing that if I just added this nose here, right, like somebody would be like, oh, she's an orc or something, right? Which is not incorrect, but it's like, well, actually, no, it's completely incorrect. But, that would be a fun experiment to run. I don't know how you'd run it exactly. I don't know how you could, it certainly wouldn't use the empirical method. Okay. I am debating whether or not to have the little like bone tips here. I think I won't include them. Yeah, exactly. Lots of variance. Not to mention your own not perception, but expertise with the subject might also be relevant. Like if somebody knows a lot about bats, they'd be like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's supposed to be a bad thing, isn't it?" Right? Like they would be able to smell it out from a mile away. Conversely, somebody who doesn't know a darn thing about bats, calling to mind that one Calvin and Hobbes strip where like Calvin is like, bats are a type of bug, and everybody's like, bats aren't bugs. In any case, if somebody doesn't know a damn thing about bats, then you might actually be able to get away with quite a lot. The only thing that makes bats not bugs is the fact that they are not six-legged creatures. I want to make this bigger. You can just copy, paste, and flip this on the other way around. Okay, get rid of these. Maybe put this one a little bit further out. Right, and the way I wanted to kind of like show that she's an office worker is also by having a little badge here, little lanyard. With her employee ID. I wonder if it's. I think it's definitely more common in Japanese office culture to have the cards be horizontal, but in the places I've worked, most of the employee cards are vertical like this. I feel like you should be allowed to customize the design on your card a little bit. Gotta have that lanyard badge. That's right. I feel like you should be allowed to customize it a little bit. If you want to make yours look like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, why should that not be permitted? Why should you not be allowed to do that? Is my question. Yeah, sure. It's like more difficult to identify you properly if that's the case, but like, yeah, you should be allowed to get a little silly with it. You want to talk about you want to talk about like office well-being? Let me get a little silly with it. That's all I ask. My needs are basic and straightforward. Let me get a little silly with it. This is all I ask. Yeah, forget salary discussions. Actually, no, don't forget salary discussions when you're first interviewing for a job. At the end of job interviews when they are like, "Do you have any questions for us?" That's when you bust out the question, "How would you describe your workplace as silly friendly? Is it a place that is a welcoming environment for goofsters and jokers?" And if they say no, then you hit the bricks. Actually, I wonder if any place would describe themselves as like a silly place for goofsters. Maybe like at the SNL writers' room or some shit. I don't know. Hmm. See, no place would self-describe as silly, but I feel like some places would definitely, if you ask the average Joe there, is your workplace silly? They'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're silly as fuck, bro." there there has never been an office more unserious. I think that's what the US/ British TV show The Office is about, but I've never seen an episode of that thing, so it's hard for me to say. Hmm. I know a lot of tech places have tried to advertise on that sort of style of workspace sometimes, but it usually just feels bad. Like it's got to be a naturally occurring silly. True, true. If they try to force it, that's also a red flag. Yeah, I remember somebody once commented on the Google offices that, you know, their vibe there is like back in the like way earlier, right? I remember when I was a kid I used to see all kinds of advertisements for like the Google office, right? Since it had like a lot of that kind of silly shit going on, like deliberately. But the thing is, like, I remember like an expert was commenting on the office design, and what they kind of surmised was that the reason they wanted to make it so kind of like friendly and fun looking is because then they'd be like, "This place is so fun, you will never want to leave." And that's when it starts to get sinister as hell. Like why you want it to be a naturally occurring kind of silly. Listen, a workplace having like a cereal bar is the equivalent of like a toxic person on Twitter having like a P Crew and a Hello Kitty icon. A Hello Kitty Pickeroo icon. God, you just know the. I'm describing a very specific subset of people that is certainly not universal, but I feel like we've all encountered at least one instance of this person. Like I've seen a couple in my time that are like, "Oh yes, I love like Sanrio characters and I'll also condone like I don't know, freaking Victorian era factory working practices." Had a friend working there recently up until they got hit with some of the layoffs a while ago. Sounded like all sorts of stuff to get you to just stay there constantly. Yeah, that's. Hmm. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, there we go. Bonk, bonk. Maybe I increase the stabilization a bit. Bonk, bonk. There we go. God, that is such a creepy thing as well. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, recently I've been reposting stuff for October, right? Uh, actually inspired by a post I saw the other day that was like, every day in October, I'm just gonna repost stuff that I've already done. Anytime at work, it's like the whole family thing. It's like, no, you're a job. I think that's definitely like a generational attitude shift that's happened because like I feel like in the old days like that like it's become a buzzword almost. It's like, when the first people to do it must have kind of like been like that. The one thing I will always remember is that actually, you know what? Forget the point I was trying to make earlier. The point that I'm trying to make now. I remember reading or hearing, right? I listened to it on a podcast. The story of Domino's, how the guy that made Domino's, and apparently he had such an intense relationship with all of his like subordinates that he was the best. He would often brag that he was the best man at all of their weddings, and that was such a red flag moment to me. Like I think like back in the day, that would have been like, oh well, they're so like they're also it's such a close knit workplace, and now it's like, holy shit, this guy must have like had a gun behind his back when he was trying to be like, hey, so you're getting married, I'm the best man, right? And like he would be like nudging them with a gun at the fucking Dominoes. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I do think it was definitely like a generational thing. Like, it was impossible for the workplace to have as. No, I mean, hmm. I think it's because there's more information available now, right? That people are more aware of their rights as workers. That makes it so that a lot of the creepy and insidious stuff needs to actually get put on the down low because people will realize if you're trying to be super weird about and creepy about it. So now it really is just a kind of race to find ways that you can trick people into committing their entire lives to you. And again, that would have been. I'm assuming that that's also a generational thing because that wasn't so crazy to think about. I'm guessing like 30, 40 years ago, right? Like you signed up for a company and you were expected to work there most of your life, if not all of your life, right? Maybe changing lanes at some point or another, but you were supposed to be like a really long term investment, and I don't think that's the culture anymore. I imagine it might still be in some places. I remember hearing something about Costco still having similar philosophies to that. I don't know though. Most places don't have that sort of long term thing as much, especially with tech. Mm. Now, for tech, I do imagine it's a very high turnover, especially because of just how everything is structured these days, right? Because, with tech, it used to be that you wanted to create a big long term empire. And now it's much more of a growth focused model, I imagine. Like now everybody wants to be like Uber, everybody wants to be friggin' Tesla, everybody again also bear in mind none of those places have worked out so far. Bear in mind that all of the examples that I'm citing are places that have absolutely gone to the dogs. But the whole thing is that you want something that'll look super good to investors so that the guy who owns the place can just sell it off at a high price and get their payday. Like that's the purpose of most startups these days, I feel. Like some of them are trying to do genuinely exciting things, but a lot of them are just trying to essentially sell hype, which I am sure will have absolutely zero consequences in a world of late stage capitalism. I'm sure it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, I think that's why more than ever we need to be able to support small scale projects. Sure, it's great that so much of tech is venture capital stuff. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with this system. Oh my god. We definitely, dog, we have put so much forethought into our current ecosystem of technology and venture capital. Did you know we have 31,000 pieces of like identifiable space junk right now in our orbit? Not just like satellites, period. We have, this is not counting usable satellites. We have 31,000 pieces of identifiable space junk. This is old satellites, rocket parts that have kind of just popped off during, the different stages of a rocket, that kind of stuff nobody will ever be able to use again. We have 31,000 pieces of it, and that's not even counting the itty bitty insignificant little like tiny debris. But you should worry about those because since they're in orbit, they have, the little bastards have apparently built up so much speed that one time the International Space Station had to get a window repaired because a paint fleck that had like advanced to the speed of like a fucking artillery cannon hit one of the windows and caused a crack in it. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's terrifying. That's actually a real problem. Like at this point, nobody's developed like a solid low cost solution to it. One dude's solution was literally to have to track the different clouds and large chunks of space debris, just because this paint flag rail cannon thing was becoming such a problem. Because the thing is, right, and this is called like the Kessler effect, I believe. If you have a rocket and you have space junk that has tiny, paint fleck buckshot ripping it apart, when that gets hit, it's going to create more debris as well. It's going to also create that additional paint fleck debris that'll destroy other things. And like what people are worried about is that one day we're just going to have so many flying murderous paint flecks running around in our orbit that we won't be able to launch anything up there for a good long time. Because anything that tries to get up there will just get shredded by paint flecks. Well, it wouldn't be just paint flecks, right? Obviously, it'd be just like a bunch of other stuff as well. But paint flecks are the kind of unit of measurement that I'm using at the moment. But yeah, again, absolutely nothing to worry about. The good news is that they are actually working on like long-term solutions. There have been a bunch of different things proposed. I remember one dude. There have been like a bunch of different initiatives trying to get it together. Like there's one dude who tried to use like a little grappling thing, right? Like it would be a very small spaceship with like this kind of like spider blossom on it, and then when it got near an object that it needed captured, those things would like fan out into like a big old grabby claw to grab whatever thing was on the way. And another one literally just shot a net at whatever it was trying to capture. It was like Moby Dick. Like it would like harpoon and net things. The one that I think is most promising is this one called Astroscale, which I believe is a Japanese place that its initiative is to, rather than try to capture what's already up there, in addition to that, the idea is to also kind of prepare future satellites for easy retrieval. So the principle behind that is that essentially all the satellites would be fitted with like a magnetic plate that once their end of life came through, the satellite would just get towed back into to burn up in re-entry by another satellite, which I honestly think is a really good solution and one that we should implement going forward. Just have something in place to mitigate future instances of this problem. Wasn't there like a phrase like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? I think that's that kind of thinking in action. It is definitely a good thing that people smarter than me are working on this, because if you asked me how to get stuff out of space, I would be like, I don't fucking know. Like, that's like one of those problems that I have no idea how to even begin approaching. Like, in some cases, like, we all want to believe that we have the capacity in ourselves to like solve the world's problems, right? But I feel like in some cases you're just like, yeah, no, I have no idea how we would even fucking begin doing that shit. For me, space problems are like one of those. Yeah, I simply do not understand how to space. I do think we should tell children about this, though. I do think that we should tell them about the paint flex. I think they would think that it's awesome. I think their tiny brains would not be able to understand the implications for a long time, and they would instead just be like, "You're telling me that there are like paint flecks in space that could destroy spaceships?" It'd be like for them it'd be like hearing about a dragon or some shit. They wouldn't have no idea or like the actual implications of it. They would just be like thrilled at like big Mad Max explosions happening in space. Okay, there we go. We can put this part here a little bit higher there. But yeah, that's my fun kind of space facts for the day. I wonder what other kind of solutions we'll come up with. Because I feel like we can probably do better than weird space tentacle grappling arm and also literally just a net. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not dunking on nets. Nets are awesome. I owe my life to net. One of life motto is "fuck it, we ball," and you cannot ball without net. But I feel like there might be a more elegant solution that we can find. Never underestimate the humble net, dude. When I was a kid, I used to think that when people got hit by and got like a net thrown at them, you know how like people will get like in television and everything, people will get like nets thrown up at them, and they'll immediately be like immobile. They'll be like, oh, I'm stuck in the net, and they'll be like thrashing and flailing, and they won't be able to get out, even though it's like a solid line, or like you can see like the holes are like big enough for their arms to go through. And I'm like, you guys are kind of chumps. That would not be me. But like, I am assuming that it's actually much more difficult than it looks like to get out of one. I don't know. I haven't participated in any gladiatorial games, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that in an accurate capacity. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like I definitely underestimated the humble net, but like, yeah, I don't really have any experience getting netted. But I do feel at the same time like that if you like, have you ever been in like a really big tarp? Like, have you ever like had to like tussle with a really big tarp before? Because I have, and it is surprisingly easy to get yourself tangled up in that sucker, and that thing doesn't even have holes. After that, I started gaining much more respect for the net. And like again, I was like, "Oh, look, just their hands have gone through." But the thing is, like, once you get your hand through, you're essentially dragging the rest of that net with you whenever you move. So it is one of those things. It's almost like grain entrapment. So yeah, after that, I started getting much better perspective of like the humble net and what it can feel like to get netted. Hmm. I need to tilt this a little bit. There we go. We can probably move this a little bit to the left. Okay, and then there we go. Maybe I should give her clogs. That would be such a funny idea. Like this little old granny vampire who just wears wooden clogs around the office. I think that would be a much better fit than heels, honestly. I don't know. Clogs probably aren't very orthopedic, is the thing. I mean, they might be. I don't fucking know anything about clogs. I know they're manufactured by the Dutch primarily, the wooden ones, I mean. But beyond that, my understanding of them is spotty. Clogs have a lot of different meanings, I imagine. Like, clogs can be a lot of different things, but when somebody says to me, like, they're wearing some clogs, mind immediately goes to the little funny wooden Dutch ones. Oh no, I'm guessing it's probably more of a general Eastern European thing. If one of those guys has it, like all the rest probably have it to some extent. That's kind of how it works there. It's kind of like how Ecuador doesn't really have any one food that I can call it. Like a lot of the food that I associate with Ecuador is also present in a lot of other Latin American countries. And while it makes it a little bit difficult to identify anything that's particularly Ecuadorian, right? It's also kind of cool because that just means that we've had a lot of a lot of sharing between cultures, which is dope as hell. Okay, that's simplifying it a little bit too much. Yeah. It's almost like a cultural way of saying of knowing that at some point two dudes were like, bro, check this out, you have got to try this. I was like, oh man, what's it called? Yeah, I call them arepas, and they were like, oh man, you're right, these are fire, we should start making them. And since we all have corn and beans, we're like, we did. And it was great, might I add. Okay, I've made this foot too big. Oh yeah, I can just do this. Yeah, this helps. This definitely helps to put it in perspective. For example, now I know that this is too wide. There's been a lot of serious news recently, right? I mean, it's not like there's ever not, right? But I feel like more than recently, we could use some very funny news, which is good because I actually found one such article. So it turns out that in Australia, there was this small incident where a low flying helicopter made its way over a crocodile farm. There are crocodile farms in Australia. I recently learned this also. Point of the matter is, the helicopter went over the crocodile farm. And it turns out there's a lot of competing theories that they have over why this happened. But for some reason, for whatever reason, when after the chopper finished flying in low over the crocodile farm, the crocodiles got into, and I'm almost using a direct quote here, an amorous frenzy. For some reason, this helicopter flying over the farm put the crocodiles in a real mood. Like I said, there's a lot of different theories about why this happened. Like one of them said that because of the helicopter, like it simulated the dropping barometric pressure. Yeah, frenzy is a real word choice right there. It paints a really vivid picture. But yeah, like one of them says that like maybe the chopper changed the barometric pressure, which usually is a sign of a rainstorm, and that's usually when crocodiles start mating. Another person said that like the kind of like thrumming of the chopper resembled like a territorial sound that crocodiles sometimes make, which also kind of got them worked up. Yeah, there were like a couple of different theories about why it happened, but the point of the matter is that these crocodiles got busy right after the chopper finished its flyby. And I think that that is simply delightful. Speaking of things that sound like crocodile, did you know that Crocs is releasing a cowboy boot? Have you seen it? Have you seen the cowboy boot that the Crocs a shoe company is soon releasing? Cause it's real good. Feast your eyes. They have spurs. It's got like lizard print on it. It's you show up with these to the function, you are leaving with a fresh new person on each arm. You show up with the only bad thing about this is you can't switch the spurs to be like in casual mode like you can with normal Crocs. That is my only criticism of this design. I think the crocodile on the side also is wearing a cowboy hat. I can't tell for sure. It's a little low res, but I think that that's what that is. Oh, lordy. But yeah, these are real tight. I like them. I would not wear them myself, but I respect them on such a deep conceptual level. Oh, that's a cute bat. All right. God. I wonder if there are also what other things we can do. We can crocify, right? How about some Croc Martens, huh? Some Croc Tailors. I think Crocs already made like an Uggs competitor. I remember having fur-lined Crocs as a kid. My parents bought them to me for me to wear as like house shoes during the winter because my feet were very cold. And unfortunately, I did kind of love them, perhaps a little too much. They got worn through really quickly. But yeah, they did keep my feet fairly warm. I actually bought another pair of Crocs not too long ago, a couple of years back, that I still wear sometimes around the house. Uh, those I am not as much of a fan of because they are for some reason they cut off my circulation if I wear them for too long. I remember when I was wearing them originally, I was wearing them for like days at a time and like my legs just started hurting like crazy after a little while. I'm like, oh man, what's causing this? And then I just like stopped wearing them for a couple days and I'm like, so these were the culprits. Shakus. So after that, I stopped wearing them regularly, but I do still wear them if it's like cold around the house, or if it's like if I can't find like my house slippers. I have a pair of house chanclas that I wear as indoor footwear. I generally go barefoot inside of my own house. My family are all either we have like indoor shoes or we go barefoot. I choose to go barefoot like 90% of the time. And let me tell you, like the thing is like house slippers are vital in the winter in places that are cold, right? Like you need something to protect your feet against cold. You could wear socks as well, but like then you have no traction, you have no grip. So yeah, house slippers for the win. Not to mention if you ever have like a dormitory with showers in university, you are going to want to wear some manner of foot protection while in those showers because otherwise it is like a straight shot to getting a wart. Like it is not a discussion. You are getting a wart if you do not protect your feet in communal university showers. Thankfully, warts are not particularly dangerous. They're just annoying to get rid of, from what I understand. I remember when I was looking for like a there's like these deodorants you can put on your shoes, and I wanted to find some of those because I had like this new set of really nice shoes that I wanted to take care of. And while I was looking for it, it turns out that you needed to like get it from like either a Foot Locker or like order it online at the end of the day. But while I was looking for that, I remember finding a the pharmacy section because I thought you could buy it at the pharmacy. I found a pharmacy section where you could buy like wart treatments, and all of them were like, "You need to put acid on this sucker," and I'm like, "Okay, I will not be doing that." You need to kill it with acid, or else the beast shall return. Yeah, I can't imagine it's like too painful, right? Like modern medicine has probably made it so that it's just like the right amount of acid. Still, the ideal amount of acid to have on my body would be zero. So I will be making my best endeavors to avoid getting worse. Okay, I think we have the line art done. We can start getting started on the coloring. Okay, there we go. Skunk line right down the middle. We should make the wings a cool color. Let's start making the blouse first. The top part of her clothes. I'm going to take a quick sip of water, too. I read this news article the other day. So, the Orlando International Airport, which is a place that I've never been to before, has recently announced that it's trying to create this new how would I even call it? It's like a guest pass for the airport. You don't need to be so essentially what it says is like, okay, you don't need to be flying to go to the airport, but you do need like, okay, so essentially what it lets you do is that it lets you, if you become part of this program, you can essentially get into the airport without needing a ticket or anything. Because if you've ever been on a flight or anything, TSA will like check your ticket when you try to get in. right? They'll like when they're patting you down, when they're checking your what do you call it, the when they're checking your luggage and everything, they'll be like, all right, let me see your ticket, and you'll have to show it to them. So what this pass will let you do is essentially go into the airport without needing to. I don't know how I feel about solid black for these. Maybe just like an even darker black a little bit. Hang on, maybe. If I set the volume, the brightness to like 2, was that going to make like a? No, okay, that'll make a nice difference. Okay, good. But yeah, no, they are essentially rolling out guest passes for the airport, and I, for one, could not imagine an experience that I would want to have in the world less than this. Like, don't get me wrong, I love traveling. I'm very experienced with traveling. But if you said to me, "Hey, have you ever wanted to like visit an airport without without needing to be on a flight?" I might actually try to hit you because I feel like you would be trying to pick a fight with me. Are you Skrunkly? I got surprisingly attached to the model I made on Monday. That's the main reason. Hi, Leov. But yeah, no. If somebody was like, "Hey, man, you want to go visit an airport without actually having a flight?" I would think they were trying to pick a fight with me. Is it because you're so stout? Actually, my ordinary model is also very stout. Hang on, let me drag this. Let me drag this guy out here. So this is like the Skrunkly model, and if I go to the load avatar, I should have. There we go. Pav's back up. This one is much bigger, but hang on. There we go. This one is also very stout, as you can see. And let me go back to being Skrunkly. I want to be Skrunkly again. It's also much smaller. I think that was about this size when I was about earlier. But yeah, no, I'm always stout now. I'm just very sturdy. I'm a very solid little fellow. Stout rice, that's right. I'm like some chow fun with a side of Guinness. Okay. Hmm. I forgot your rice, and I was like, huh? I'm so used to people calling me rice now. Listen, we may be on good terms now, but there will have to come a day where where one of us is going to have to duel to the other to death for the rights to be known as the rice guy. Actually, no. My name is Pabs, and and your username is just Rice. So I think it'll be fine if we just I don't want to be called Rice. I don't know what to tell you then. I mean, you did have that one other. I remember you used to have another account with a name that was like something or other milk, but I don't think that's like your regular thing either. I don't think you'll want to use that as your regular account either. I don't know why everyone chooses rice instead of milk or soft. I guess it's because like it's the most. I'm no linguist. I've been liking sobbing. Jeez, dude. I think the reason people don't use that generally is because it's a little alarming to just refer to someone as the sobbing one. No. Like, listen, I know that you use sobbing as like your nickname, but like if you if somebody was like, "Oh yeah, that's Leo. He's also called sobbing." Like it makes you sound like you're some kind of like Dark Souls character who is constantly weeping. That's why I think it's not a very intuitive name. I am not trying to make to kind of like razz on you on any way. I'm just saying that's why like I don't think I could like, if you suddenly asked me to call you sobbing, I would be like I would play ball, but I would not be. Oh, not nickname. I've been having people call me Leo instead of Rice, and it's been weird. Huh. Yeah, that's a toughie, isn't it? Like how do you get stopped being called something after you've been called it for a long time? Yeah. I think the reason most people call you Rice when they see your username is because like soft is an adjective, right? So it feels a little strange to use it as someone's name, or you wouldn't intuitively use it as someone's name. Milk is a liquid, which is in its own way fairly intangible. But rice is like something you can hold on to. Rice is like very familiar to most people. Feels like the first name basis in Japanese culture type of weird feeling. Oh, I think I understand now. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's like it's almost like a feeling of I don't know you like that, huh? At least that's kind of what I'm hearing here. Hmm. Also, I wanted to do a little bit more work on this color palette because there's nothing particularly striking about it, and that's a problem. I guess red shoes would be pretty striking, but those wouldn't always be in frame. All right, time to use a little bit of gradient mapping. Oh yeah, I was talking about the airport passes for the Orlando airport. You know, one airport I would actually hurt people to. I like listen. There is one airport. Ooh, I'm liking this one actually. Hang on. I haven't done the lanyard, but this is actually this. Hang on, this is something. We might be cooking here. All right, that's on the multiply. What about? No, I think I like multiply the best still. There is an airport in Canada, the Toronto Pearson International Airport, and it is the worst place on earth. I despise it on a personal level. Hmm. Maybe having the outside of the wings. No, I think having the inside of the wings be like blood red would be a cool detail. Yeah, I'm really liking this color palette for her. I'm also realizing just now that there's been a bunch of little gaps here that haven't been quite filled. I should fix that right now. I also realized that I haven't actually done anything for the lanyard, but that's fine. We can work on that. An airport to hold a vendetta against. Yeah, I don't know. Like the thing about the Toronto Pearson International Airport, at least in my experience, is that it's just very poorly laid out. Like it's just not very good to navigate, and I'm not sure why that is. Like it feels. Like I have to go through it almost every single time I have to travel, and it has sucked like on a consistent basis. Mind you, there is only one time I've had like a serious incident with like in terms of like traveling experience. Like that is like, and I hated it long before that happened. Let me flip this. I see. All right, hang on. Let me do something real quick here. Like if the I think like it's also I originally got very offended by the concept of a pass to visit an airport whenever you wanted, because I thought originally that you had to pay for it, which is not in fact the case. You don't need to pay for the airport pass. Um, some airports really make you wonder if anyone thought about how to build things, right? Okay, there we go. Hmm. Yeah, okay, we can probably flatten this one out just manually. Okay, there we go. Like, there's also this one passageway that I recall distinctly from this airport. It is like a nightmare because I have to go through it every single time I want to. I remember I have to go through it on a pretty consistent basis. It is like this hallway that is really, really long. Like, it is a 5 minute walk to get from one end of this hallway to the other. It is. It is some House of Leaves type shit, where it is just like this really absurdly, almost nonsensically long hallway, where it has like one set of stairs, but the rest of it is just like this really long, winding walk. And I need to get there to get to a certain gate that I regularly go to, and it sucks. It's also not very well ventilated, so it's like really hot and also really cold in some places. The closest thing that I could compare it to is that one hallway from Metal Gear Solid 4 where you can see Snake getting microwaved or some shit. Like, it feels like that every single time you go through it, and it's awful, and I hate that airport so much. It also doesn't have any good food options. Like, all the restaurants there suck, and the thing about airport restaurants is that they are hella overpriced. No matter what epocha, no matter what place you're going to, it can be the most dirt cheap thing, whatever it is, they are going to be marking it up 20-30% of the normal prices. They are going to be jacking it up substantially. And that makes sense on some levels, right? Because if you think about it, airports are in pretty remote places. They're not very easy to stock up on, right? They're not places that are, broadly speaking, accessible to conventional logistical routes. And I can respect that. But if the food there sucks as well, it is kind of the last straw. It it's just, I don't know why I have such a grudge against this airport. Well, no, I've given extensive reasons why I have a grudge against it, but I just don't know why it exists. It feels less so an airport and more so somebody tried to recreate one of the circles of hell from the Malabolgia. It's like if the guy who made the saw traps made an airport. It sucks. Maybe it's nicer in some of the other wings. I wouldn't know. I've only gone to like one general departure gate, two actually. One that's like behind the aforementioned 5.5 minute hallway, and the other one which is like much closer to the normal exit. But yeah. Oh god. I hate that airport so much. But it's the only game in town, so fuck me, I guess. Uh, at least I don't. At least I'm good with planes, right? I feel like it'd be one thing. It's one thing that I hate the airport, but I like planes. But it'd be another thing. I feel like if I didn't like the airport and I also just hated flying. Because if I hated flying, then the whole thing, I think I would just never leave the country. right? Because like you go to an awful airport, plus you have a terrifying experience. That is not a very good incentive to leave. Hmm. Something's bugging me about the leaves, about the wings. I was gonna. Bro said leaves. Hang on, what is? Where's like the other one at? Okay, so it's around yay much. Just trying to figure out how to, like, what the best angle for this is. Leaves. The other day I saw. I've been gaining a newfound appreciation for all the House of Leaves jokes I see on Tumblr because I've actually started reading the book. And I think my favorite one so far is this one where there's like this cat looking very closely at a camera. It's like called House of Leaves, enters the house, can't leaves. That one made me crack a smile. All right, let's see here. Okay, maybe just a small eraser right here. There we go. Is there another line here? Huh, that's weird. There we go. Just spackling these holes. That being said, oh, what about like kind of like really white ashy wings? The old bats get like weird wings. I need to look up like a really old bat. World's oldest bat. I can't imagine that bats have a particularly long lifespan. There we go. Apparently at this point he's too old to fly, the poor thing. But the wings just look kind of patchy, which isn't really what we want. Go Grandpa, I guess. God, it's like every single time I look upon these, it's like looking upon. It's like that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just a very powerful image. Oh, the wings aren't quite lining up either. I need to get these lower. I wonder how a cowboy from like the 1800s would react to the cowboy Crocs. I kind of want to see it. You know, I feel like they would have some degree of appreciation for it. They'd be like, "Well, partner, I don't know. They seem like fairly poor walking boots. What with the holes? I don't reckon the horse would like them much, but maybe they'd feel nice around the house. You know, something like that." I don't think they'd be fans, but I think they would be able to find the beauty in them. Although I think if you told a cowboy about how we make plastic, I think his brain might explode a little. And then if we told him about pollution, I think he would cry. I kind of want to see both of those scenarios now. We really need to start having more characters like that, like the little cowboy and Roman soldier from Night at the Museum, where it's just like the same like stereotypes of that time period put into modern situations. Hmm. Maybe making them like a kind of like low, like a even darker version of her skin tone. Would that do anything? Gotta put dudes in situations. I've been saying this. Maybe purple? Hmm. Would be a good color for this? Maybe dark red again. Tampoco. Maybe like really dark red. Hang on, select color gamut. This one here. Hang on, that also took the skirt with it. All right, let's play around with some different hues. Okay, hang on. Let me clear my throat for a second here. Thank you. Okay. I'm kind of interested in that kind of like aquamarine color for these. Maybe if we like bumped up the brightness a little bit. Ooh. Okay, hang on. We might be working with something here. I just hang on. If we also make the cardigan like a slightly darker. This is almost like the palette for old school Devilman. Hang on, like there was like this Devilman animated TV. I remember watching Devilman Crybaby a long time ago, but there was like also a much older Devilman anime. Yeah, here we go. It reminds me a lot of this. Actually, what if we flip that around? Hang on. Select color gamut, this one here. Actually, this works pretty well as well. Hmm. Let me try some. Let me try a couple of different things here. Maybe there's something we can do with the wings. Actually, let's just see what it looks like with the original plan. Yeah, no. Okay, so we're trying to make the colors, the wings, the same as the color as the cardigan here. I think the way to do it is that we have the wings cast a shadow on the cardigan. Okay. I also wanted to try a little something with my shading this time around, which is to incorporate a little bit more black point. Like this. I'm going to try and be mindful of time a little bit, right? Because I did have one other design. At least I wanted a couple other designs I wanted to get through, but I think with the rate we're going, we might just be able to finish our vampire lady here, and then one more dude. The coloring is always the most difficult part. Hmm. Okay, we removed the little thumb mark here. Oh, thanks for the hydrate, Emerald Ninja. Let me take a sip. Okay. I think I'm going to leave the hands alone for the time being, actually. Let's focus on a couple other parts. There we go. Hmm. Over here. Imagine the hydrate redeem as a draw water. that'll be kind of a funny idea. Oh, you want to get the canvas more wet? All right. Like every single time we activate the hydrate redeem, it just makes it just buries the canvas under one of those like water filters, and each time it gets redeemed, it gets one layer deeper. I start to talk like. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not the one taking a sip. OBS is. Lord knows they've earned it. Yeah, no, the face shadows would probably benefit from being just conventional shadows. Whenever I think of drawing water, as in like getting it from like a spring or from a pulley or from a well, I remember that one really stupid political commentary cartoon where like this dad was telling his kid a bedtime story where it's like Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, and the kid is like wearing like a bunch of Pokemon Go merchandise or some shit, and is like, yeah, 1,700 hydration filters later. And the kid is like, water? They shouldn't have been going up there to fetch crummy water. They should have been going up there to fetch Pokemon creatures. You know, it's one of those very typical kind of like, ooh, look at the youth of today kind of things, right? But every single time that I remember about drawing water or like getting water from like a well, I remember that stupid fucking comic. So I can't say it didn't quite have an impact. It just had a very dumb one. Okay, and then for the actual cardigan. I need to make the fill tool anti-alias. There we go. There we go. Okay. Man, remember Pokemon Go Summer? Remember the just unrestrained joy in the air that season had? What a year. I do remember that year was also the year of the 2016 general elections, though, I believe. So maybe not such a fun time for most people. At least I remember Pokemon Go being super popular the same year as like the 2016 elections. I remember one particularly funny. Hang on. I remember one particularly funny encounter where my family and I were doing a raid. Oh yeah? Tell me more. A ton of other people, like the week the raids came out. Oh, nice. Dude, I'm just imagining if your whole family was into Pokemon Go. That must have been kind of incredible. A real bonding experience. I wasn't really able to play Pokemon Go at launch for due to certain circumstances. The fire and ice birds. Yeah. I remember Articuno and Zapdos. I don't remember the fire one. Moltres. Booyah. Brain. Still got it. I can remember that, but I can't remember my parents' phone number. Go figure. But yeah, that sounds like so much fun, though. Me, I've always been more of a legendary dog kind of guy. The ones from Gen 2, freaking Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Those guys were my bros. It's probably because I played a lot of Pokemon Coliseum growing up. I should stream that someday. If Nintendo ever wanted to print money, they would just make another Pokemon Coliseum game. Like 60 different dudes who haven't touched a Pokemon game since they were 12 would be lining up outside their doors. At one point, we're trying to organize how we're going to do the next team raid, and one man in particular was like actually organizing and such. Uh-huh. He's like a field marshal. At one point, my dad was like, "Follow that what that one guy said." Oh my god, he really is a field marshal, dude. This is how small countries get started. I pointed out that we were now following the instructions of a man wearing a Pornhub hat in public. Not all heroes wear capes. All I'm gonna say. That is fucking incredible, though. That is a good story. That is a real good one. You're a loose cannon, Jim. We can't accept what you wear to the office, but goddamn if you're not one of our best. I was like 15 or 16 at the time, and I don't think my dad noticed the hat yet until I pointed it out. Oh no. The good thing about like pointing that out as a 15 or 16-year-old is that you can kind of feign ignorance about knowing what the site is or having ever visited it, because then you can be like, well, I think you can put two and two together from the name of the thing alone. He just kind of shrugged and we went on to get legendaries. That's really funny. That's a good story. Thank you for sharing. Okay, then like this. There we go. This wasn't a group of 10 people. This was like 40 people overall listening to this Pornhub hatted field marshal. God. This would make a very inspiring documentary. I can see it now, just like the drone shots of like these 40 people all being kind of like corralled by this one dude wearing a very distinctive hat. That's frankly incredible. I love that you shared that with us. Thank you. Okay, then grab this. Oh, that looks like a blood cell. That's a fun detail that I didn't intend for. No, not part of the story, but I play Pokemon Sleep now. How fucked would it be if when you went to sleep one time, you just had a dream of that same dude with a Pornhub hat just corralling you into catching Pokemon? Like he's become part of the human collective consciousness now. In our greatest time of need, he'll appear. He's like King Arthur. God, that is frankly incredible. All right, let's see. Then for the skin. I'm still not sure if I want this lady to be like part vampire or if she's just a normal bad woman. I think having her be part vampire would be more interesting overall. I'm just imagining her like in her younger days, like maybe she was like a genuine like Mad Men style business mogul, and now she's like very close to retirement, very pleased with how far she's advanced her career over the years. She visits her grandkids every weekend. God, we're going to have grandparents who are like in the middle of the 2008 financial crisis soon. And, well, no, not soon. That's going to be like, well, no, we already have people who are grandparents during that time. Hmm. The thing is, like, I feel like we're not going to get a similar kind of atmosphere to like the American Psycho esque Dionysian parties of yesteryear, where business executives just did crazy shit all night long. Like they still have those, but I feel like they'd be more like, you know, business executives used to do cocaine and now they just do homeopathic treatment. So I feel like it'll have lost some of its punch. You know, essential mint oil just does not hit the same as like no stories that start. So I took a hit of essential mint oil. Just does not start the same as so my colleague and I were doing a line of coke. Right? That's something to be happy about, though. Don't do drugs, okay? Drink water. Thank you. I shall drink water. Oh, yeah. In some very exciting news, I finally have a functioning oven again. So I'm probably going to be start making cookies soon again, which is going to be very exciting. I've been missing baking stuff. Not just because it's very useful, right? Like I like to roast vegetables before I toss them into whatever I'm cooking. Like if I'm making just some fried rice, right? I'll roast my vegetables before I throw it in there. It adds an additional thing of flavor. I do recommend it. It's super easy roasting vegetables. Literally, find a guide online that tells you at what temperature you need to roast them. It's super easy. You literally just toss them in some oil and salt, and now you can roast them. It is so great, and it improves the flavor so much. A little bit of garlic in there too, a little bit of garlic powder in there. Recently, I've gotten this one Resident Evil TikTok stuck in my head of Leon S. Kennedy be in the village being like, Leon here, I can't find a blunt to save my life. And then one of the chainsaw guys shows up behind him and it's like with a cigar, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you guys were chill like that. The entire thing is just something that I've just been repeating to myself very frequently, which is crazy because I don't even partake in the devil's lettuce. I make a lot of weed jokes for a guy who's straight edge. Maybe a larger brush size. Nah, I like it better without anything. All right, I think that's a bad lady done. I have one more dude in mind. Let me save my work first. Let me do that. First of all, one thing about me is that I will save my work. Then I have to set up my refs for making my own OC art. Nice. Yeah, I do kind of love the mood board stage of OC setup. There's something very magical about it. All right, let's do one more. We can do one more guy. This guy I pictured as more of like an IT specialist. I kind of want to have him have a super bad posture. I have a Picru and a pose chosen. Oh, neat. I forgot about Picrus. I don't. I have never used a Picru to kind of like hammer out ideas for an OC. Although there is one OC that I have that I based off of this one Picru result. Let me see if I can find a drawing of her. Yeah, I think I had her in one of my Drawtober drawings. Hang on. Where is it? Not here, not here. I swear I had her around here. Hang on. Maybe in this folder? Hang on, I have one more idea where it might be. Let me go to my recycling bin. Is this one? No, that's not it. I could have sworn it. Hang on, it has to be around here somewhere. Hold on, give me a second to find this. Here she is. Yeah, this OC of mine I hit random on a pick crew and she popped up, and I'm like, all right, that's kind of fire. Oh god, Devilman jump scare. Fuck that guy. I love using P crews for references and ideas. No, I could definitely see the benefits of it. Hang on. Is there like... I need a picture of somebody with like comically bad posture. Yeah, here we go. Okay, I see. Junkrat. See, there's a difference. Like, okay, the thing is, right? So if we go to Mr. Rat here, right? What you need to understand is that bro does have bad posture, but that's more of like a gremlin thing, right? Like that's like a kind of wild bestial energy in the man that makes him pose like that. Conversely, this is more of a kind of... this is more born out of neglect for yourself, right? Like one of them is like... one of them gives the vibe of like a cat hunting you down in the jungle, and the other one is like just a guy at a desk. Yeah, exactly, like shrimp posture. That is what I'm looking for as a thing. All right, we need to make this guy just a touch smaller. Speaking of posture, I switched to working in the standing mode, which is still your natural enemy. So do check your posture. Yeah, that's right. Hilariously enough, I am like in 1 degree of separation away from this one VTuber who is a shrimp. There's this one VTuber called Emgree, who is friends with Preston, I believe, and she is pistol shrimp, I believe. So if it came, also she could kick my ass normally, but if it came to blow, the fact that she is a shrimp would be like an automatic debuff. Say what you will about Fate lore, right? Like about lore in the Fate franchise, but they really popped off with the idea that like you can have like conceptual weaknesses. Like the idea that something is just so antithetical to your own existence that it can just kick your ass by being itself is kind of a rad take. Can I like hang on? I've got an idea for how to do this. There we go. I kind of want like a very... I feel like I've made with this, I've made the other office worker also very wide. So I kind of want to make this guy a lot lankier. Maybe if I kind of shrink this down and then... Okay, that's a good start. But then we need to kind of exaggerate the posture even more. Yeah, okay, I think we can work with this. Let's actually bump that up just a little bit. So this guy is going to be like a computer dude, in addition to being an IT guy. Let me actually get some primitives up in here. Okay, shrink this way down. Move it around here. Move that way up. Actually, we need to make this thing a little longer too. Okay, and then like this. There we go, perfect. The man who had an L bracket for a head. No, it's actually based on, I believe, hang on, I had it written down what I wanted to base it on. Oh, hell yeah, 1 bit. Thank you very much. I've actually been meaning to... I think that's that stream I need to schedule for next week. I've been threatening to do it for a while now, but I do need to do 2 things. One, I need an announcement for subscriptions, and 2, I need an announcement for bits and donations. Similar to how I have the Rice Beast one for follows and for raids. I need one for those 2 circumstances as well. Because I get embarrassed every single time I get a subscription and I notice that I still have the what do you call it, default running zombie one. I'm like, I have shamed my ninja clan. It's kind of like that. I have pride as an artist. That partial deletion thing looks dope. Partial deletion? Hmm? Are you talking about like the primitive? Or about the vector line thing? I agree that vector, the thing where you clean up the lines. Oh, yeah, that's a feature of CSP. So I'm working on this thing called a vector layer. You can see that it has a special marking here. You can make a new one by pressing this button right next to the new raster layer. So as opposed to raster layers, vector layers treat each line you make as a vector line, which means that you can it's essentially like the computer remembering specific points in place, and the line is essentially information instead of just like a marking. I mean, it is information regardless of that, but it remembers specifically in a way that you can control after you've made the line. So that lets you do a couple of new things. So the thing that I'm doing to clean that up is this vector eraser, which essentially is set so that where the lines intersect another line, it'll erase. Yeah, no, if you use CSP, I cannot recommend enough that you learn how to use vector layers. It is real easy, and it makes your life way easier. It made my life easier, at least. That was actually a big concern of mine back when Clip Studio Paint was fucking around with the AI stuff, was that I wouldn't have access to vector lines as part of my workflow. Thankfully, they eventually backed down, but it was really touch and go there for a couple months. I used Rebel. Oh, I think I've heard of that one as well. Hang on. Bell. Yeah, I remember. I think I have this one too. I remember buying it one time when it was on sale a long time ago. Yeah, it's watercolor, huh? Cool. I should try using that at some point. I might hit you up for some information on how to use it if I ever give it a shot, if you don't mind. Let's see. Then we can just kind of copy and paste that. Bonk, 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 bonk. All right, there we go. Absolutely. Thank you. That means a lot. Let's see. Then lower the size of these guys. Yeah, I based this guy's head off a combination of an old Hitachi portable TV and an IBM 3278. Not advanced in it, but I love to help. Listen, get the growing pains of using a new software are the toughest part of any of it. If you can get somebody to get you a running start, then that's already huge. So yeah, I do appreciate it. Okay, there we go. Actually, I got an idea for this. Just copy and paste this. Copy and paste that. Copy and paste that. Okay, then over here. There we go. The keyboard is absolutely not accurate, but yeah, it's based on an old IBM 3278. There's something very cool about computers from that era. Or at least I at least enjoy their design. It's not quite as practical as today's designs, but they had their own charm. Okay, there we go. Right, and the idea for this guy was that he would actually have a hood covering up most of his face. I've seen weirder keyboards. Yeah, weird keyboards are such a unique thing as well. I'm gonna copy and paste this just in case. Yeah, weird keyboards are their own kind of playing field. Like you have not seen weird fucked up keyboards until you've seen some of the insane shit that people will just make for as part of their hobby. I gotta sneeze, hang on. There are also weird ergonomic keyboards. There's ones that like stretch like cats in order to better accommodate your palms. Why? Huh? Oh, there we go. Yeah, the weirdest keyboard, the one of the weirder but more conventionally useful weird keyboards are those that are like ergonomic that kind of stretch out like a cat. Okay, grab this. There we go. And we'll have the hoodie drawstrings kind of like all the way down here. We can probably straighten those out a little bit by simplifying the line. Okay, flip this. Oh, hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome, Raiders. I'm Pabs, the Rising VTuber and an artist, and today we're doing a little bit of character design. Welcome, welcome. Skills, how you doing? Yeah, today was whatever Wednesday, right? Subnautica, nice. Very cool. Yeah, on our end, we're doing some character design. Right now, we're working on like this computer person, but we did this sweet-looking vampire granny. Wet Beast Wednesday. That's how you do it. Yeah, hey Corgi, how you doing? So yeah, we did this very old vampire lady who is very sweet-looking, and now we're doing this computer dude. All right. So yeah, if the old lady was like an office worker, this guy's like their IT specialist. I'm doing okay, but I'm so EB, so I'll hop off here. Nice. Get some rest. Good work out there. Enjoy your evening. Thumbs up. Hell yeah. Yeah, welcome Raiders. Okay, there we go. A backpack or something hanging off their side would make this look a lot cooler. But I don't have the patience to design one of those right now, so I'm gonna just do the guy. There we go. Okay, I can erase that. Perfect. Yeah, nice baggy pants. I've heard this one stereotype about IT dudes in the office that for some reason they always wear like all black sneakers, which I'm guessing is like some kind of compromise for the dress code, right? That might be the case. Now, if this was like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk cool character, I would give him some nice basketball shoes. But this is supposed to be like a very normal office worker guy, so he got Skechers or something. I don't know. What is the most like conventional? I feel like New Balances would probably be like the most conventional guy's shoe. I know that I know the primary what do you call target market for New Balances, white New Balances specifically, are like suburban dads. I don't know where that one specific stereotype came from. They just seem like very comfortable shoes. You know, they're sensible, functional. Do I want a pair of white New Balances? Perhaps. Hmm. I don't know. The thing is, right, because like this dude is so normal looking, I feel like maybe a very cool or unique backpack would really tie the design together. I know I just said that I don't have time for that, but I kind of want to make time for it. There we go. What would be a good backpack for this dude? Maybe one that looks like a big old thing of like an old hardware component or something. That might be a good idea. Like an old hard drive backpack. Yeah, like with with like the magnetic ones. Yeah, that might work actually. All right, let me finish making these sneakers. Okay, there we go. I think I forgot how to build athletic shoes. With boots, it's very easy because they're like dress shoes, but clunkier. Athletic shoes, however, are a little bit more of a different beast. They don't have. They have similar structures, but not the exact same ones. Hmm. Oh god, jump scare. Hmm. Wait, I think it was something like okay, like this, and then yeah, now I remember. They have something going on with the top part of them, but then they have a kind of hang on secondary part here. Yeah, now I remember. It's all coming back to me. And they sometimes have something on the back too. There we go. Yeah, this guy's gonna have his lanyard right down here, near the belt. Actually, that's the thing we could do to distinguish him a little more. Make him more bottom heavy. You know, really give him the full kind of scene kit treatment. You know, like belt loops and everything. Not belt loops. Like, what are these things called? Like belts? Side belts? Belt straps? No, none of these sound right because it just sounds like I'm describing belts in different ways. Except for belt. I think for that one, it's fairly obvious. And actually, you know what would really make this? I know that there are certain sweatpants that are made to look like jeans for some reason. Let's give him a couple of sweatpants straps right here. Yeah, okay. Some cargo sweatpant action. That's what it's all about. Recently, I've been trying to play Doom Eternal. I played Doom 2016 on stream a while back. I think like that was the first game I played after getting my new PC. Was playing Doom 2016, and I had a great time with that game. Some parts of it got very frustrating, but overall, lovely experience. And now playing Doom Eternal, I'm like 2 hours into the game, so I don't want to make too many harsh judgments on it off the bat, right? I listen, like I know that for some reason people don't like Doom Eternal compared to Doom 2016. Like I know that it's not as popular. I thought that was like a story thing, and so far it very much is. But at the same time, like I feel like they're trying very hard to make it baby's first movement shooter. Like so far, it just feels like I've been playing Ultra Kill with training wheels. Like you know how you can give like there are like these non-alcoholic beers and non-alcoholic wines that you can give to like your little cousins when they want to like feel included during New Year's or like during some celebration. So you give them like this like children like kids beer or kids wine or something like that so that they can feel included and it's a good laugh all around. This feels like that, but for Ultra Kill. It's baby's first Ultra Kill. That's what it feels like so far. But yeah, I hope I turn around on it. Again, I am very early in. I do remember that combat in Doom 2016 was also fairly frustrating until I got more of the arsenal together. So hopefully it'll grow on me. All right, so we're gonna get an HDD backpack going on. Let's see. What would be good here? My buddy last month sent me an 18-minute long song from the Ultra Kill music composer. Well, the thing is, Ultra Kill music fucks severely. It is a very good soundtrack. Yeah. I've talked about Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill is kind of like a comfort game for me. Listen to it like 3 times a week. Yeah, there you go. 18 minutes long too. Like that's some good shit they've cooked. There we go. I've never played Ultra Kill, but if one song from the creator is living in my head this much, Ultra Kill is much like a fighting game, in that it's very fun to see others do it, but it can be a little bit more challenging to get into it yourself. I was very lucky to have two people who knew a lot about the game kind of hold my hand through the initial chapters. So I definitely recommend looking at some guy, like definitely play it a little bit on your own. And if you find yourself having trouble, look at some guides for like the movement and techniques, because I guarantee you that it'll get easier. Like if I hadn't, like for example, there's a technique you can do in the game called projectile boosting, where you use your okay, so you have a parry attack, right? You have a melee attack that can hit people, and it can, more importantly, parry projectiles. It can parry your enemy's projectiles, but what like isn't immediately obvious is that you can also parry some of your own projectiles. Those mainly being your shotgun blasts. So you can punch your shotgun blasts, and it will not only make them do more damage, but it will also make them explosive. I don't believe this is told to you at any point. Maybe it is during like one of the lore drops, but I found myself getting addicted to using the shotgun parry thing, the projectile boosting. Like that is like the main reason I play that game, is because I love doing the projectile boosting. Projectile boosting is like a brother to me now. So yeah, good game, good ass game. Go play Ultra Kill at some point. It's like what, $20? Less on sale probably. It's a good game. Give it a shot. Also, it has some of the funniest memes I have ever seen. Like, I feel like the Ultra Kill community has, for some reason, some of the tightest memes ever. Need to get it one next on sale. Yeah. I think if this was a backpack, it would have a zipper somewhere around here, around like the middle here. Okay, there we go. Then back here, perfect. Okay, flip this around. Align it with that. Put this here, put this back here, and there we go. You know, I love using Ultra Kill as very quick kind of stress relief. More like stress inducement. You know that one tip that's like, if you ever feel anxious, you need to like squeeze your muscles really hard all at once, hold that for like 30 seconds and then let go. And that'll relax you or like that'll help relieve some anxiety. That's exactly what I use Ultra Kill for. Because I have found that it has like this very good mix of like me being able to progress through the game, but also me not having the exact amount of competence to ever make any of the game reliably easy. It's a very good balance. Yeah, turn slow tigers into fast tigers with this one simple, sexy trick. Actually, the trick isn't that sexy, but it is very simple. So what are you waiting for? Okay, there we go. Counterpoint. I'm sure some people find Ultra Kill very sexy. That's... Yeah. Yeah, I think some people do. Some people, yeah, I think you might be onto something there. If this were like if this were like an edited clip, I would have like images of Gabriel Ultrakill's ass just like flooding through me like some kind of war flashback. And of course of V1, the main protagonist. This character is actually loosely based on V1. You can see it a little bit in like the shape of the head, but other than that, that's kind of like where the similarities end. Hmm. I am wondering what else I can do to make them more interesting. Maybe have something across the chest, or maybe like some kind of logo. We'll figure that out next time. For the time being, we have to give them some color. All right, I am looking for a very specific shade of like pale green plastic. There we go. Yeah, there we go. This kind of like greenish, almost plastic. That's more yellow than anything, but I swear, in some angles it looks greenish. And I just lost it because I switched to the color dipping tool. My bad. Okay, there we go. Then switch this over to kind of green. I need to switch this back down to being like 1-0 on the area scaling. And switch back to more kind of like yellowish for the buttons. Then I don't know, like a darker blue, like an almost black blue for the hoodie. He looks like some kind of electronic Grim Reaper like this, actually. That concept goes hard. Okay, then maybe some kind of like bright yellow for the bands here. Or kind of like orangish yellow, like, you know that stitching that some jeans have? That kind of yellow. Do you like his jet pants? That is jean sweatpants. I feel like I could have been quicker on the draw there. I feel like I could have gotten to the question line a little bit faster. That would have probably helped a little. Timing is one of those precious things that is very difficult to get right. Okay, and then for the belt loops here, how about... Yeah, comedic timing is definitely a skill. Emerald green is kind of nasty. Doesn't really go with the rest of this. Maybe more black? Yeah, I feel like he'd go for more black. My bad, Emerald. Bad for this context. You have a lovely verdant hue that glimmers and sparkles in the sunlight. Present company 100% excluded. I think his card would also be just like a plain white card. Maybe like an ochre like that, yeah. Turn it into like almost like a Rothko painting. Actually, having the head and the body look like this dude tries to not draw attention. It seems, yeah. He definitely has like that kind of super introverted vibe, huh? That being said, because of the color choice on the lanyard, it does look like he posed for his lanyard picture topless. So I don't think he's that shy. But yeah, it is a very low key outfit. Having yellow undertones for it, it does feel right though. It feels like a right step. Hmm. Maybe like closer to greenish dark? No, that's still too close. Maybe like this? Yeah, that works. Actually, yeah, maybe just like a flat black. Or, Whoop. I kind of want to give it white souls, but at the same time, like that goes against the kind of mission statement for this. Wait, I think I know why it's bothering me. Hang on, let me try something real quick. Then this for the soul. No, okay, that wasn't the problem then. Although that does work well for the shoelaces. Actually, just this kind of gray works. This gray that I use for the background here. I guess a slightly brighter version of that. Then we can use that for the backpack as well. Okay, then we can use this kind of darker black for the top here. Oh, they're neat. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, put this here. Then a really dark black, probably this one for like the insides of this part. There we go. Yeah, all right, I think we've got everything. All right, let's move on to the shading real quick. Some quick and dirty shading. I think having it be like a kind of sickly green rather than a palish yellow has really helped out in the long term. It also adds to that idea of like the guy not wanting to draw attention to himself, I think. Calls a lot of like Matrix references to mind. There we go. Bam, bam, bam. And we'll bam. And then we will have a very kind of squarish highlight here. Right, I'm going to switch back to sitting mode. I've been standing for a while now. I know that there's supposed to be a lot of benefits to regularly, there's a lot of posture. There's like a lot of benefits to posture, a lot of benefits to circulation from using a standing workstation. But I imagine that over time, using it too much can also be an issue. I do know that if you also get poor circulation if you stand up too long, It's kind of the same reason why if you hold your arms up for too long, they start hurting. Not just because of the muscular exertion that you're putting on them, but also because of the fact that, they're just like staying up. They're not really shifting very much. Yeah, variety is always a good idea. Okay, there we go. Hang on. Where's the blend tool? There we go. All right, we need to have... Oh, we have too much tolerance on this now. There we go. Okay, then that's going to go like this. Okay, this works. Put this together like that. All right. Okay, I think I've got an idea for how to do this. All right, first of all, we're going to need the gradient erase tool. Then we also need a darker color. So let's try to use that one that... Let's get something approximating that first one that we used that was a little bit too dark. Yeah, like that. There we go. Oh, I missed a spot here. Let's just erase that. We have the soft eraser, actually. Let's use that. Then just right here, we just have a solid line. Okay, that works. Then next up, we'll do one here. We'll need a big shadow right here for the chin. It's funny how I give my robot a chin. You don't really think about the chin of a robot very often, I don't think. I don't know, somebody might. You know, the guy who designs the robots, he'll think about it a lot while he's putting it together. I do get the feeling that this guy would be more of a cyborg than an actual person, though, than an actual full-on robot, though. I feel like a full-on robot would be able to program bad posture out of its subroutines. But maybe it wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, put this there. Okay. Then what's next? I think the hoodie is more or less done. We just need a couple more extra bits right here. There we go. Actually, this line here is bothering me. Let me smooth that out a little. And actually, let's also grab this and just use the soft tool, the soft eraser, to kind of bore out the edges there. I said bore out. I said like boring as in like the digging thing, which is not something you generally do to edges, I don't believe. It might be. I feel like you carve out an edge, but you don't bore it out. Yeah, because boring makes holes. Something about me is that when I'm bored, I will make a hole. Be it at the beach, be it in the beaches, in the battlegrounds. Dude, my most like traditionally masculine thing that I do is that I do whenever I'm at the beach, I do have the urge to just make a hole in the sand, just dig one out. I haven't been to the beach in years, I don't think, but like I remember very distinctly being a child and wanting to dig out a huge hole in the craft, in the beach, in the sky. In the craft, in the beach, in the sky, I will dig a hole. Okay, then right here. Actually, let's select the color gamut real quick. Oh, wrong layer. Hang on. Let me try that one more time. Okay, then right this right here. I forgot how useful the select color gamut tool was when it comes to shading. There we go. Then right here, and let's say right here. Then, yeah, just a few more shadows here. Love this dude. He does have some surprising swag to him, huh? Even though he tries to be very low key, this does have some of the inherent robotic swagger that all machines possess. Yeah, we talk a lot of good game about the eroticism of the machine. How about the drip of the machine, huh? How about the undeniable coolness of being Big Robot? Whoops. Please tell me I've been working on the right layer. I have! Yes! Let's go! Alright. We'll use this part here to just erase this middle bit lightly. Then... No, actually that doesn't look quite right. I think I've made the shadow here too low. Or I haven't introduced enough circularity to it. Circularity, that's not a word. Circumference? Possibly. Maybe, I'm glad that you like the design. Yeah, if I move this upward a little bit, this kind of like curve here. Let's say around... Yeah, it's missing some circumference, some curvature from here. That's the word I was looking for. Booyah! High five, brain. Let's go. I still got it. We are so back. Remembering the word curvature doesn't seem like that big of a victory, but you have to take them where you can. It's all about the little things. Seriously, nothing makes you feel more like a gangster than remembering the word you're trying to remember within like 30 seconds of originally remembering that you don't remember it. That's possibly the worst way I could have, the most clunky way I could have phrased that, but I stand by it. One time I forgot the word for ink, so I said stamp juice. That's actually pretty good. Stamp juice. Yeah, my classic example. I have this one example that I always give to people. For me, I forget. I tend to. I have a decent vocabulary, so I don't often find myself at a loss for words. But I do suck at remembering like Spanish vocabulary. And the kind of baseline example that I love to give for that is this one time when my dad was telling me about this carpentry project that he was taken up. Right, my dad loves carpentry. He's He's good at woodworking. He loves working with his hands. You know, classical dad stuff. But one time when we were talking about this project that he'd started up, and he was talking about how he needed some nails, or that he was trying to get some nails set for the project. Or I think like he talked about it one time, and then like a week later, I wanted to talk to him about it. Right, like I wanted to check up on him, see how he was doing. Relate to him in my capacity. But the thing is, the word for nail, much like how in English nail can mean both the object on your finger, but it can also mean like the metal object used in carpentry. Spanish has two different words for those. Nail, as in the thing on your hand, is called uña, but nail, as in the thing used for carpentry, is called clavo. And I got those mixed up when I was talking to them. So I was like, sí encontraste las uñas para eso. Which is like saying that you find the hand nails for that. Which is something you would say to a serial killer. But definitely not your father. Oh my god, we all burst out laughing after that one. Good time. Genuinely fun time. Someday I'll beef up my Spanish vocabulary, but it won't be today. Yeah, no, I bet you my cheeks were hella red that day. Hmm. At least you say soy embarazada. I have actually said that before. I have said soy embarazado, which is just casually introduce mpreg into the conversation as you do. Oh god. Dije que estoy embarazado y de ahí estuve muy avergonzado. In other words, well, again, thankfully, the only times I need to speak Spanish, unless I run into the very, very rare Spanish-speaking tourists near where I live, the only people I speak Spanish with are my parents, and they take it very much in stride. I'm very lucky in that regard. Your auto caption struggles with Spanish. I've noticed. It's a monolingual chump is the reason why. Actually, it confuses quite a few of my words. You can see there that it said monolingual Trump, which I do not doubt that he is monolingual. But in any case, actually, is Trump multilingual? I feel like he tried to learn another language just to flex on people, but he couldn't really speak it. It's not even monolingual. It is like 3/4 of a third lingual. It is like 9/16 of a tongue. That being said, I do think it's adapted very well to me over time. You know, given how I say stuff that literally doesn't make sense 90% of the time, I think it's made a valiant effort. You know, I'm not gonna shame it for trying its best out here. It's fighting for its life trying to translate what I'm saying. My thoughts cannot be properly communicated through the human language. My brain is working in like multi-thread processing. It's a miracle I can form a coherent sentence with how fast my brain is going. And yet, by some miracle and twist of fate, it does. And then I use that miracle to become a live streamer. You know, in order to make it everybody else's problem. This sounds like a put down, but I'm actually bragging. Yeah, that is also true. It does. Paps, think fast. 12 plus 21. 32. 33. Fuck! No! Oh, I've been bamboozled on my own damn stream. Oh, God. Can somebody clip that? Somebody clip that, please. Talked all that shit just to be defeated by humble arithmetic. Anyway, this guy's done. Just a little bit of shading on the backpack, Raleigh. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. Good work, people. Oh, yeah, I've disabled links, but I'll be able to see that. All right. Thank you all so much for coming by the stream. Do we have anybody currently streaming right now? Oh. Yeah, Meal's still having her celebrathon. We will go say hi. She is currently in a little bit of a pause, but she should be back any moment now. Oh, I don't have a Discord server because I'm not insane. But thank you for the but I appreciate the effort. Yeah. No, thank you all very much for coming by. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all later. Bye.